Hello, this is the daily encouragement message we've prepared on a beautiful Wednesday morning, September 11th, 2024. We're both here in front of the microphone. It's a time to point out as we get older, it's harder and harder to post one every day, particularly when we have, like we did yesterday, quite a bit of busyness. But today we want to get this out. A message to encourage and provide Bible teaching title from our text, actually, Help in Time of Need. And that Bible text is a power-packed one from Hebrews 4, verse 16.
Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need.
Today, Bob and Cindy are on our hearts. In fact, we just prayed for them. They're a couple in our adult Bible fellowship who are bearing a heavy burden. They've done so for 6 months, perhaps longer. Their daughter is scheduled for surgery today as part of treatment for breast cancer. We seek to practice the biblical command to, quote, bear one another's burdens, end quote. And this has been a burden for them, so we dedicate today's message to their family by drawing on the helpfulness we heard in a teaching many years ago regarding help in time of need.
Jim Gambini has been our friend since we moved to Lancaster County in early 2001, and he was our pastor for probably 5 years before he moved on. When he was preaching on the subject of worry, he shared a memorable point concerning God's grace. He pointed out that when we find ourselves worrying, we get ahead of God's actual plan and try to figure out how our troubling situation will work out. This may get us worked up, which leads to even more worry. Jim pointed out that we cannot stockpile grace.
But God's grace is always available in abundant supply during our time of need. And I underline that, during our time of need. Jim shared this vital truth, and I quote, "For the Christian, our focus is not to be on the need or even the provision for the need, but we are to focus on the provider." That's kind of a good quote to put up on a plaque or something. Well, an Old Testament illustration of this is how God provided manna, enough for a daily portion, except for a double portion to be gathered the day before the Sabbath. If they tried to double their daily allotment or stockpile the manna, it would spoil.
The writer of Hebrews implores us to approach the throne of grace with confidence, and I quote again, "Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need," end quote. This is the only reference in the Bible to the throne of grace and is a quite literal translation found in all standard translations. And what a comforting description of this approachable place where we find mercy and grace. Not only approachable, but we're invited to come.
Amen. Well, we approach this throne in the latter part of the verse, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. The Amplified Bible makes this distinction between mercy and grace in this context, writing mercy, meaning for our failures, and grace to help in good time for every need. And of course, if you know that version, it elaborates appropriate help and well-timed help coming just when we need it. Well, His grace is in our time of need, or again, as the Amplified Version states, coming just when we need it. Not stored up grace, but coming at the time of need.
Coming boldly unto the throne of grace is a reflection of our faith that focuses on His throne, which will also increase our faith as we obtain that which is needed to live for Him. It's in the present tense as an exhortation to continually draw near to Him in prayer, worship, devotion of heart, and life.
I'm so glad for God's presence in my time of need. We've had plenty throughout our 48 years of marriage and, well, before that as well, and we are continue to have times of need. I've received His mercy, regularly experienced His grace, and I underline this point. Admittedly, His grace is not always dispersed in the way that I have prayed about or wanted, but rather as God in His providence has scheduled and apportioned it. Keeping our focus on the throne of grace remains a challenging spiritual discipline for many, including us. We have more of a tendency to want to stockpile grace. Well, Lord, help us to keep approaching your throne of grace with confidence so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need.
Amen. There's a prayer in itself, but let's
Amen.
just further pray. Join us. Father, it is often a challenge to focus our attention on the throne of grace when we are surrounded by earthly thrones and man-made solutions for those things that trouble us. But you want us to look to you in our time of need and fully believe that you will provide right on time and in proportion to that which is best for us. We cannot stockpile grace, so we eagerly approach your throne with confidence, knowing that we will receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. We thank you for it. Amen.
Amen. See just a couple of songs today. One rather new to me by Destiny Worship Music, whatever that is. It's titled Come Boldly and is based upon the daily text, it seems, today. And then another one that came to mind, and I found out why when I looked at the first verse, a song we sing in our church called Yes and Amen. This is a version by Jesus Culture. And that first verse begins, Father of kindness, you have poured out grace. You brought me out of darkness, you have filled me with peace. Giver of mercy, you're my help in time of need. Lord, I can't help but sing. Then it goes on to talk about God's faithfulness. Well, we share several photos today. A beautiful flower photo of Brooksines, a friend we met yesterday at work that's now serving the Lord. Been away from that company for several years and had a nice time of hearing his testimony yesterday. Flower photos, and we'll end with the pointing out we had some really wonderful guests last night. Bill and Lucy Mosbarger were part of the church we served from 1977 to 93 in northern Pennsylvania. Came in about halfway through that time, right out of college, saved while at college and looking for a church. And what a blessing they've been. Bill and his wife Lucy, blessed with 3 children. We write a little bit more about them if you care to go to our site today. Anything else you want to add, Brooksy?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we'll be leaving in a few minutes to another one of our companies that is having a work day at a Christian camp in southern Lancaster County, JK Mechanical at the Black Rock Retreat. So we've been invited. We like to mingle with the workers and encourage, hopefully. Well, thank you for joining us today for Daily Encouragement Message, Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. Let me just say here in the podcast, we're aware of the significance of 9/11.
Yes.
Didn't necessarily write about it today, but in an overarching way, it relates. Help in time of need. Our website is dailyencouragement.net, and today's message, again, from the text, help in time of need.